What's up, guys? Mickle here, and last night we got both the SEC and Ripple's most recent summary judgment filings. Guys, in this video, I want to go over all the best parts. These are actually going to be the final filings in this case. I know that is absolutely shocking. This thing has been going on forever. Guys, in this video, I want to give you all the highlights, let you know the parts you need to see, and we actually got a citing of the Hinman emails in Ripple's filing. Guys, in this video, we're going to go over all of it, so make sure to stick around for this whole thing. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things really do go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my link for Uphold down in the description below. With that said though, guys, let's jump right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, real quick, make sure you do not miss out on Moomoo's holiday promotion. If you sign up with Moomoo using the link in the description of this video, you could win up to 15 free stocks as well as $60,000. Guys, Moomoo is an awesome trading platform. They have a great interface, they're regulated, and this is an awesome chance to win some free money. So guys, do not miss out on this and sign up with Moomoo using the link in the description of this video before you miss this opportunity. So guys, I want to start this video out and give you guys a quick overview of both Ripple and the SEC's main arguments in their summary judgment briefs. Because if you were to read through these things, you would notice one very interesting thing, and that is it sounds like the SEC and Ripple are fighting completely different cases. In both of their briefs, they really talk past each other throughout the entire thing, and both sides are really focusing on two very different issues. The SEC is really fighting this case directly from the Howey test. The SEC is trying to bend and warp the Howey test to try to jam cryptocurrencies into it, and they're really arguing this case from a place where it's almost like a theoretical law that's kind of being created in the middle of this case, and they're trying to stick cryptocurrencies into it. The SEC does a very good job of kind of creating new rules and new laws that seems like they could make sense in a society where there were cryptocurrencies. Unfortunately for the SEC, what you'll notice is they really don't focus on a lot of the already existing laws in place. The reason for this is there really are no laws in the US relating to cryptocurrencies, so the SEC really has to make some assumptions, kind of bend some things to kind of try to fit cryptocurrencies into their argument and try to jam cryptocurrencies into their jurisdiction. On the other hand, Ripple makes a lot more of a factual argument to the court here, but actually hits from a much different spot. The SEC is already making the assumption in their brief that there was an investment contract. The SEC is essentially saying, all right, well, there's an investment contract, now we go straight to Howey, and XRP passes the Howey test because of these reasons. A lot of this Howey test stuff is very debatable, it's very up in the air, but one thing the SEC does not focus on at all, they actually choose to ignore it, that Ripple puts a lot of attention on, is the idea of an investment contract. Howey actually only applies to investment contracts. So if there's no investment contract, you can't apply Howey. Say, for example, a car. You can't apply the Howey test to a car because a car does not represent an investment contract. This is really where Ripple starts out their argument. They're actually arguing from a layer below the Howey test. The Ripple legal team is saying the SEC is trying to apply the Howey test to something they're not even allowed to apply the Howey test to because XRP is not an investment contract. These are the main two differences between Ripple and the SEC's filings. They're both very unique in how they argue their case, but I think Ripple's argument is a lot stronger. The fact of the matter is, cryptocurrencies never existed when the Howey test was first made. The SEC is trying to apply this Howey test to cryptocurrencies, trying to make it seem obvious how cryptocurrencies fit inside of it, but the fact of the matter is, Howey was about orange groves and cryptocurrencies are completely different. Ripple's argument is a lot easier to wrap your head around. Do buyers of XRP, do they have any right to the company Ripple? The simple answer is no. I have XRP in wallets. Do I have any right to Ripple? Well, I certainly haven't gotten anything, and there is no contract that would allow me to get anything in the future. It's a very simple argument, it's very straightforward, and it's actually factually based. If you look at the SEC's argument, you'll see they have to make a lot of assumptions. And the main reason for that is they're relying on a test that's just outdated. You have to try to jam a lot of different things together, try to connect a lot of dots to try to create a narrative that might make it seem like XRP could pass the Howey test. And although they do have some decent points here or there, the fact of the matter is you don't even get to the Howey test because there's no investment contract, and even if you were to apply the Howey test, it's extremely debatable, and the SEC is the party that needs to pass the burden of proof. The SEC brought this case, so they need to make sure things are clear as day. XRP is a security and Ripple violated securities laws. That is not clear as day. And now I want to go over what some of the different lawyers are saying to really show you guys how much stronger Ripple's argument really is. So guys, let's start this thing off, and I quickly want to talk about a tweet thread Attorney Bill put together. So Attorney Bill is really focused on the common enterprise, and that is a huge thing in relation to the investment contract. Pretty much is XRP, Ripple, and XRP holders all in a common enterprise, all working together for a general scheme to increase the price of XRP. Well, Attorney Bill is saying right here that the SEC commonly in their brief conflates enterprise and efforts, where the SEC is saying, oh, XRP holders and Ripple, they both want the price of XRP to go up, therefore they're in the same enterprise. But the fact of the matter is, this is completely different. Me and someone else can both want the same thing. Me and you could both want the housing market to go down so we can buy a house. That doesn't mean we're in any kind of enterprise together, and the reason why we're not in an enterprise is what we were talking about before. There's no investment contract. Me and you both wanting the housing market to go down, that doesn't put us in some kind of enterprise together where suddenly we're legally obligated to one another. It doesn't make any sense, and this is what the SEC straight up ignores. They straight up ignore this because they don't like the truth. The truth of the matter is, every XRP holder wants something completely different from XRP. I talk to different businesses all the time that just use XRP to move money. They could care less about the price of XRP. I'm not in some kind of enterprise with them because we both use XRP for completely different reasons. It's completely absurd, and the SEC tries to ignore this and say, oh, they all want the same thing, so efforts equals enterprise. That is not true, and efforts and enterprise are completely different. The Howey test specifically says enterprise, and this is a great example of the SEC trying to twist things to try to jam this into their jurisdiction. They know they're conflating these two words, but they do it on purpose to try to make it so the Howey test sounds a little more favorable to their argument. Now, if we go to the bottom here, I'm not going to go through this entire thing, but if you want to read it, I highly suggest you do. Attorney Bill does a great job. He says Ripple is essentially saying that they have no obligation to give any of their profits to XRP holders, and every single XRP holder has their own right of custodying their own assets. They have ownership of their own XRP. So the idea to assume there's some kind of common enterprise here is completely insane. And once again, the SEC just completely ignores this because they know it hurts their own argument. So guys, now I want to move on and cover the reference to the Bill Hinman emails. We're going to have to fly through some of this stuff, but the stuff in the beginning really was the critical stuff, and it's going to give you the best understanding of the case. That's why I really focused on it. Right here, Ripple actually had in their brief, the SEC knows their legal theory is irrelevant, and then we have this massive passage essentially redacted, and we can see right here that this is a note directly from the Bill Hinman Ethereum Free Pass emails. What this probably says, and it's hard to tell because it's redacted, but it likely says something like the amount of XRP Ripple holds doesn't matter. The amount of cryptocurrencies a company holds doesn't matter. Or something like the token itself is not the security, it's really the offering. It's probably something like this because it says right here the SEC knows this theory is legally irrelevant. So the SEC said something in these emails that goes against what they're arguing in the Ripple SEC case. I really hope this gets unredacted. I would love to see all the crazy things the SEC admitted in the Bill Hinman Ethereum Free Pass emails. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like we're going to get to see it. It seems like the SEC will probably settle beforehand, or in this case, will go to summary judgment, and Judge Torres could just not make them public at the end. We'll see what happens, but either way, it's kind of funny that Ripple's literally using the SEC's own words against them. That has to be very embarrassing for the SEC. Let's keep moving though. I want to quickly cover this. I'm not going to go too in detail here, but Ripple makes a very strong argument that essentially foreign exchanges, the SEC has no control over. So the SEC sued Ripple for all the XRP Ripple ever sold. The funny thing about it is a lot of it was done on foreign exchanges. The SEC doesn't even have access to it. So the SEC is suing Ripple over stuff that's not even in their jurisdiction. And on top of that, a lot of Ripple sales were to accredited investors, which once again, the SEC has no control over. Not only is the SEC completely wrong on the facts, but they're suing Ripple for a lot of things they don't even have power over. Keep moving. Once again, another great argument right here. And this is actually the SEC making an argument for Ripple. I thought this was pretty funny. Right here, the SEC starts an argument with, while Ripple undoubtedly set up a complicated network of bank accounts, it undisputedly did not segregate and separately manage investor funds or allow for profits to remain independent. So guys, I don't know about that second allegation. I don't really see how that has to do with something being a security. It's likely like a sub argument the SEC is trying to make, but I think it's pretty funny. They say Ripple set up a complicated network of bank accounts. Guys, the fact of the matter is Ripple has a complicated network of bank accounts because they're helping banks all over the world move money in fractions of a second using XRP. I feel like the SEC accidentally proves right here that Ripple is solving a real problem with XRP, and it's just kind of funny to see them lead with that argument. Sherry says right here, she's a lawyer, she's like, if I was trying to prove this, I probably would have left out that part, considering the fact that the SEC has already argued multiple times in this case that XRP has no utility. But once again, bizarre argument by the SEC. Let's keep moving. Right here, and this is honestly one of the most shocking things I saw out of the SEC. I mean, this is the kind of thing you read and you're like, the SEC is so out of touch, it's not even funny. Listen up to this. This was written by the SEC. The SEC has taken a case-by-case, fact-driven approach. Guys, they have done regulation by enforcement, and it's embarrassing. The registration regime established by federal securities laws does not regulate industries. It regulates conduct for the benefit of investors. Guys, that part made me want to throw up. The SEC didn't even bother with meeting with John Deaton and the 75,000 XRP holders. They completely blew them off. They could care less about investors. When the SEC enforces the congressional mandate that issuers like Exxon register their offer and sales of securities, the SEC is not seeking to regulate the oil industry. It's regulating the offer and sale of securities by Exxon to ensure public investors receive fulsome disclosures. Guys, the SEC is trying to make a point about Exxon selling securities, but the funniest part about this is Ripple has securities too. They have Ripple stock. They probably have bonds. But the funny thing about this is the SEC is essentially making the argument that Exxon should have to register oil. It makes no sense, and I think the SEC bringing this up just makes it so obvious how dumb their case is. Ripple has securities. Every company has securities. XRP is not one because there's no investment contract. It's a commodity. XRP to Ripple is what oil is to Exxon, and making this argument right here by the SEC kind of just makes it so obvious. It's a joke at this point. Companies can sell commodities. It happens all the time, and Ripple is selling the commodity XRP just like Exxon sells oil. I thought this is pretty crazy, and I just said in response to this, the SEC is so full of shit, it hurts to read their brief. The SEC claims they are doing this to protect investors, yet has refused to talk to John Deaton once. The SEC wanting to register XRP is the same as wanting Exxon to register oil. It's complete insanity. And guys, that's the difference between Ripple and the SEC's briefs. Ripple hits it from the facts. The SEC makes it up as it goes. Try to jam these weird arguments together to try to make it sound like in some different world, XRP could be a security if there was different rules and things played out a little differently. That's not how court works. That's not the fact. Ripple is on the right side of the law here, and that was obvious by these summary judgment briefs. I think Ripple is on the right side of this. I think they have been since day one. And guys, I can't wait for the court to prove us right. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.